guys, it's Morgan, and today I'm going to be doing the 20 question book tag. I wasn't tagged by anyone for this, but I really wanted to try it because I really enjoyed the videos that other people were posting about it. So the first question is, how many books are too many books in a series? So I feel like you can't really put a number on too many. I feel like if the series is really good, you kind of just don't want the world to be over, and so I don't know, maybe, I guess if I had to pick a number, I feel like 10. 10's kind of a lot of books, but there are a couple series on my shelf that are 10 books. The Maximum Ride series, I believe, is 10 books, and the Alex Rider series is 10 books. I guess you could count the Percy Jackson series 10 books. It's 2 companion series that are 5 books each. But I feel like if you're getting more books than that, that might be a lot. Unless you really, really love the books, then I guess it doesn't really matter. So I guess 10. I guess that's my number. Number 2, how do you feel about cliffhangers? So I feel like cliffhangers are good sometimes, but other times they're not. And I feel like pretty much all books that are in a series end with a cliffhanger, which if you love the series and you're going to read the next book anyway, it doesn't matter if there's a cliffhanger or not. But if you're kind of on the edge of whether you're going to read the next book and there's a cliffhanger, maybe it'll push you to reading the next book. But then there's other times where you hated the book and you just don't care. So I guess I like cliffhangers. It makes you want to read the next book more. Hardcover or paperback? I prefer paperback for reading, but I like hardcovers because they're pretty. I like them on my shelf. But I feel like paperbacks are better to read. They're more flexible and I don't have to take off the dust jacket, and yeah, I like paperbacks, I think. Number 4 is, what is your favorite book? So I honestly cannot pick a favorite book. I haven't read very many books this year. I think I've read 20 books this year. So honestly, I can't really tell you what my favorite book is, but I picked 4 of my most recent reads that are some of my favorite books. So the first one is The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. I love this book. I could read this book over and over again. It is one of my absolute favorite books that I've ever read. So I had to pick this one. This one, it's so amazing. I love it so much. The second book that I picked was The Meek by J.D. Palmer. I just read this last month, and it's one of my favorite books. I really loved it. I think everybody should read this. It's awesome. The next book, well, I love the whole series, the Chaos Walking series, but The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness is probably my favorite out of the trilogy, so I picked this one. It's amazing. Everybody should read the series. And then the last one that I picked was Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This book, I liked it more because of the way it was written. It's written in like emails and text messages and interviews and stuff like that. So that's one of the main reasons I liked it so much, but I did really love this book. The next question is, what is your least favorite book? So I don't have a copy of this, but my least favorite book is the Mortal Instruments City of Bones. I didn't like that book. I wouldn't say I hated it. I could probably try reading it again and I might like it. But at the time when I read it, I struggled so bad to get through it. I started it right before the movie came out because my aunt really, really wanted me to read it. It was probably a month or 2 before the movie came out. And I only got about a third of the way through before the movie came out, and then I finally finished it like a month later, so it took me like 3 or 4 months to finish it. And when I got to the second book, I read like 2 chapters, skipped to the end, and found out how it ended, and then I was done. I never read any of the other books. Right now, that's my least favorite book. Number 6 is Love Triangle or No. So I've only read, I think, 2 series with love triangles. I'm not really big into romance. I feel like I would have to read more with love triangles to really decide whether I like them or not, so I can't really give you an answer on that. Question 7 is the most recent book I couldn't finish. So the most recent book I couldn't finish, this is 3 books in one, but it's the Dragon King trilogy, and I couldn't finish the first one, In the Hall of the Dragon King. You can see I got quite a ways in. I'm on page 233, and the pages are big and the words are small. But the reason I couldn't finish this book is because it's kind of written in Old English, and so it's really kind of hard to follow. I do really want to finish it, the first book at least, because I like the story. I kind of want to know how it ends. But I started this book in the beginning of August, I think, and so it's been over a month. So I don't know. I might finish it, I might not, but I've left the bookmark in there just in case. But I was so bummed because I was excited to read the series. I thought it was going to be awesome. And then I couldn't really understand what was happening. So, yeah. The next question is, question 8. A book I'm currently reading is The Marbury Lens by Andrew Smith. This book is, I feel like it's awesome, but I also feel like it's not at the same time. I don't know, I have mixed feelings about it. But I'm more than halfway through, and I'm hoping to finish it just to see. I don't know how I feel about it yet. And then question 9 is the last book you recommended to someone. Well, I recommended The Marbury Lens to my dad because I feel like he would really like it because of the science fiction fantasy kind of thing in it. So yeah, this is the last book I recommended. So question 10, the oldest book I've read. I'm pretty sure it's The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. I know it's 50 years old this year. And I looked through my shelf and I couldn't find a book that was any older than that. So I'm pretty sure this is the oldest book I've ever read. Question 11 is the newest book you've read, and that is The Meek. It just came out this year. I looked through some of the other books, and the book I thought I read that was new was actually from 2015. So I was like, I'm pretty sure I've read a newer book than that. So this one was written in it was released in 2017. So this is probably the newest book I've read. Question 12, my favorite author. So my favorite author is Rick Riordan because I've read so many books by him, and I've liked all of them. I've read more books by him than any other author, and I've liked every single one. So that's why I feel like he's my favorite author. You can see on your guys' right, the second shelf from the bottom, that's all Rick Riordan books. I haven't read all of them. There's 3 books on that shelf that I haven't read, but all the other ones I've read, and I really liked them. So that's why he's my favorite author. Number 13, buying or borrowing books. Definitely buying. I have a problem. I buy way too many books. 14 is a book that I disliked that everyone else seemed to enjoy. Okay, so again, this is going to be Mortal Instruments City of Bones because I know it's a really popular book. There's a movie and there's a TV show based on it. My aunt really loved them, and I know a lot of people who liked them, so I feel like that's the one I disliked that everybody else liked. 15, bookmarks are dog ears. Definitely bookmarks. So when I was in middle school, my best friend really liked to read like I did, and she dog-eared her books. So I would not let her borrow any of my books because she dog-eared hers. And so it was like months, and then she finally started using bookmarks, and then I let her borrow my books. But I wouldn't let her borrow them because she would dog-ear my books. 16, a book I can always reread. This has been in a lot of them, but The Outsiders. I could always reread this. It's a super fast read. This book is only 160 pages long, and I could read it in one sitting. It's just so good. I love it. 17. Can you read while listening to music? Yes. Sometimes I prefer to read while listening to music. If we go camping and we have a bunch of friends with us and I just want to read, I'll put my headphones in and listen to music because it's easier for me to ignore the music than all of the conversations going on around me. So sometimes I prefer listening to music while I read than not. Number 18, one point of view or multiple. I definitely prefer one point of view. The only series that I really liked more than one point of view was the Chaos Walking series, and the reason I say that is because the first book was one point of view, and then the second book was 2, and the third book was 3. And so each time a new major character came in, they would add that point of view to the series. And so that's the only series that I really, really liked the multiple points of view, but usually I don't like more than one point of view. 19. Do you read books in one sitting or in multiple days? Well, both. I can't really sit down and read a book. Like, just sit there and read the whole thing. I will get bored. And I know it's weird because I like to read, but I will get bored with the book. And so I'll read like 100 pages or so, and then I'll get up and do something, like go eat something or watch a movie or something in between, and then I'll go back and read it. So sometimes I will read a whole book in a day, just I won't read it straight through. And then sometimes I struggle and I'm too bored with the book, but I'm making myself read it, and it takes me a couple of days to read it. So I guess both. And then question 20, who do you tag? I tag Emma from Emmareadsbooks. So I hope you enjoyed this one, Emma. This one's great. So that is it for my 20 questions video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. I like these kind of questions because it really makes me think about certain things, like my favorite book, and honestly I could not pick. So I thought it was great. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!